Just a little audio note today as we start our broadcast. This is going to be our last video broadcast for a little while at least. Just to let you know why. One, Andy and I really aren't that pretty. Two, it's a little cheaper for us on a monthly basis. And three, it allows us to streamline the website a little more and focus on the news as well as the audio. And since there's so much discussion going on that, I think that's a good thing. So if you're watching the video on a consistent basis, please go get the audio feed either in iTunes or Yahoo or anything like that, or you'll be able to download it straight from the website. In fact, we're even going to have a flash player that's going to play it directly from the website in a little window. It's going to be real sweet. It's going to show a little slideshow as well as we go through the broadcast. So I encourage you to do that. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope you continue to listening, that is, and we'll see you each week. Later.
Okay. Welcome to Social Truth, episode 14. I am Andrew Lawrence Sikora.
And I am Matt Kitchen.
What, no middle name?
Stephen, after my father. We welcome you to episode 14. This is Social Truth, the internet television show for the
Mildly popular.
Popular website. We just went over numbers, so that's how we feel. Website, socialtruth.com. We take a lot of news stories, we throw them online. We invite your discussion about them, which, as always, is still going quite well.
Yes.
Good discussion, guys. Keep it up. And that's not sarcasm.
No.
And we take our favorites, and actually, mostly today, your favorites to you, as we discuss how they relate to truth in our society.
Exactly.
God's truth in our society, actually. So,
so how you doing?
I'm good, I'm good.
We just had some tasty root beer. And it was good. There was a bird on the bottle.
Yes.
It was real good.
Made with the old natural raw honey that Wisconsin has to offer.
Yeah. Wisconsin's got some solid honey.
Do they?
Apparently.
I'm guessing so. Did you ever eat those honey sticks?
I
You
did.
know those are good. I like honey.
You're a fan of honey. Peanut butter and honey or peanut butter and jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh.
But peanut butter and banana I've just been trying.
Oh,
Pretty
yes.
solid. Pretty
That's
solid.
amazing.
First story.
First story. I thought that was the first story. Sorry, the truth is we like honey. Okay, first story. This is a fabricated story. Rocky Balboa trailer released. That's not really a story. I just got excited.
It's a story.
Well, I mean, it's a story, but nobody wrote about the story.
You did.
I did, and I guess I am a journalist.
Last time I checked.
With the highest integrity. Okay, so Rocky Balboa is a new movie coming out December 22nd. In a theater near you, and it's.
Are they calling it Rocky Balboa?
It's called Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
Not called Rocky 6.
That's good.
There's been 5 other Rockies before. Rocky 1 won Best Picture, I think.
And then from there, it kind of went
And
down.
then from. Are you kidding
I'm
me?
kidding. Yes, I'm kidding you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
4 was good.
4 was amazing.
5 was ridiculously bad.
5 was bad, but not.
He found a guy in the street.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
It's a movie about boxing. You should find him in the ring.
This is all I'm saying. Rocky is, as a movie franchise, as a story or a character, is probably one of the most inspirational movies ever made.
I agree.
And I will tell you, here's a quote from Tri-Frog. Rocky Balboa was my inspiration as a 9-year-old to start down what has now been a 30-year road of constantly testing the levels of my athletic potential. Huh? Check that out, Tri-Frog.
All thanks to Rocky.
Tri-Frog runs marathons and triathlons and
Crazy physical stuff.
and refuses to put high fructose corn syrup in his body, all because of Rocky Balboa. I think overall, why do you think people love Rocky?
Because it's the underdog story.
Underdog story, right?
It's because a guy overcomes the odds that.
How does a dude who's dumb, who works in a meat something?
Butcher.
Thank
place?
you, something.
I don't know. He punches meat though.
Punches
That's
meat.
my favorite
How
part.
does that guy get to face Apollo Creed in the Spectrum?
Spectrum.
That was what it used to be called in Philadelphia.
Okay.
On the nation's birthday, and then almost win, and then beat Thunder Lips Hulk Hogan, and then beat Mr. T after his manager gets destroyed, and then to beat that Russian dude with the flat top.
That's the good
and
one.
then to beat that guy in the street.
The guy in the street. What? Yeah, I know. It's
It's a
inspirational.
good story. The truth is that people are drawn to hope, especially underdog stories, because I think, and this is something we could discuss at another time, I think almost every person views themselves as an underdog.
Good quote.
You don't think that's
No,
true?
it's probably true. No, you're right.
I think almost every person does, whether they admit
Probably
it or not.
90%. I would say 90%
I think.
of the
I bet you
population
Bill
does.
Gates still thinks he's an underdog.
Doubt it.
No, I bet you money. He thinks world poverty versus me. I don't have a fighting chance, so I'm going to take it on.
I think he says he thinks he has a fighting chance.
Yeah, but he just says those things.
When the guy says he can cure like 8 different diseases, I think he has a fighting
Well,
chance.
that's just because it's.
Story 2!
Wow, that was.
All right.
I was getting.
This is
some
from,
good stuff.
dang it, Reuters? Yes, UK. Paralyzed man moves computer cursor through thought. The best story I've heard in a while. This is my favorite story. So, a paralyzed man using a new brain sensor has been able to move a computer cursor, open email, and control robotic devices simply by thinking about doing it.
Wow.
Team of scientists said on Wednesday. So, the idea is that this guy is a quadriplegic, which means he has no
That's
movement.
less of an idea and more of a fact.
Yes.
You said the.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Anyway, he doesn't have movement over all of his limbs, and he has used. They hooked this computer up to his brain,
Right.
like electrode sensor things that attach to other electrode sensor things.
Basically turning him into a robot.
Sort of, but he can feel motion still. So he's hooked up to a machine, and apparently they worked it out so he can just do things by thinking about them. So kind of like if you ever saw like a movie that had a guy who was half man, half robot. Yeah.
Bam.
That's what this
Checking
is like.
his email.
That's what this is like.
This is what happened.
Moving a robotic
Internal
arm.
dialogue. Check email. Bam. Email.
It's just
check.
like that, just by thinking about it.
Sick. It's the.
I love it. So
Dude. It's 5 steps away from the Matrix. That's all I'm saying.
And if anyone knows where I can sign up to do this, please send me an
what do you
email.
think the truth is?
The truth is that it's good because they're giving a guy who doesn't have a lot of hope in the area of movement
The
and doing
opportunity
stuff
to
like
check
that.
his email.
The opportunity
and move the
to
cursor.
and move limbs. He was able to move a limb.
Oh, okay, that counts.
So an actual
Not
arm.
his limb.
No, not his limb.
A robot's
A
limb.
robot limb. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he think you hook up 4 robotic limbs to him and he can control them by thought,
Good deal.
it's better off than he was before. So it's
He's
just
an
good.
underdog, just like
He's
my
an
boy
underdog.
Rocky.
Yeah, and it's a good story of science doing something good for humanity. Next story.
I like science.
I'm all okay with science.
It's my mortal enemy. Okay.
Stem cells.
The third story we have today is from a story that's called Poll. We hate liars but admit lying. It's taken from CNN.com. Now, it was written in a funny way, so I didn't take the initial portion of it. But here's some facts from the story. Nearly 2/3 of Americans agree that 65% of those questioned said it was sometimes okay to lie to avoid hurting someone's feelings, even though 52% said lying overall was never justified. So over half of the Americans polled said
Contradicted themselves.
you can never, ever lie. Never justified. 62 said it's okay if you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. And in more, it says a third also said it was okay, so 30%, 33%. It was okay to sometimes lie about being sick to take a day off work.
Oh.
I don't know, I agree with that.
The mental health day, as Trifrog put it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very few would admit to thinking it was okay to lie on a resume, cheat on taxes, or lie to a spouse about an extramarital affair. So the question is lying always wrong? That's my question.
I want to answer that question.
Why?
Are you asking if it's black and white then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it should be.
You think in every case lying is wrong?
I don't think it. Man, I don't know, Andy. If you wish you would have told me we were going to talk about this before we started.
Why?
In every case is lying wrong.
Here's my question. So, like, if you're lying to protect someone else, is that wrong?
I would say no, but I know some people like Nathan Smart on the website. He would say you can protect them without lying.
Is that true? Like, if let's go to
If you don't give them the whole truth, is that lying?
let's go to Anne Frank, like that story about Anne Frank. She lives upstairs in this house, hidden, and the Nazis are trying to find people, and they're lied to by saying that Anne Frank and her family aren't up there. Is that wrong, or was that right?
I would have done that.
Sure, but that's the thing. I feel like we look for things when we say blanket statement. This is always wrong. I
Right.
think lying is wrong if it's for selfish gain.
What if instead of saying hurting somebody like physically, we talk about hurting someone's feelings?
Right. Like
Does that become more gray or more black and white?
like how
Like I gave the example of
the sweater
the
example.
sweater, the historic sweater example. Your wife walks down in a nasty sweater, and she's like, "How do I look?"
What do you say?
And you say,
You look great.
you look beautiful, like you always do.
Or you say, this is what I say.
Can you
my
change the
wife.
sweater?
I say, it's really not fair that you put me in this position.
I saw this on an episode of Full House one time. So I don't know. Like you can go either way if it's something gray like that. It depends on the person.
Sure.
Like if your wife knows like is going to get extremely sensitive about that.
Right.
And Nathan Smart said
If your wife's like $2 bills, you probably shouldn't tell her she's fat because she already knows. So you should talk about how she's beautiful anyway. Does this make me look fat? You go, you're beautiful, baby.
$2 bills.
Yeah, like 200 pounds.
Okay.
A deuce and a half.
I had to make a note of that so I remember.
Okay, so I think the truth is that first off, people are hypocritical. We don't want to be lied to, but we think it's okay for us to lie every now and then.
Right.
And I think that by saying all lying is wrong,
Yeah, no, I think
we have a problem.
I think that's really good. Is that you can't just blanket something over
No.
over something that has different gray areas.
I agree.
Okay.
Can I put an X here?
Do it, baby. I called you baby. A little odd.
That's okay.
All right, final story, which I think was one of the best discussed stories on the website. Countercultural drug provides spiritual boost. This is from the LA Times.
Crazy coots out in LA.
So using the active ingredient in illegal hallucinogenic mushrooms, aka shrooms, researchers at Johns Hopkins University have induced a lingering sense of spirituality that they believe has the potential to help patients struggling with addiction or terminal cancer.
One of the things that I read in that story that I thought was interesting was they said that it was one of the top 5 most something events. Like,
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. The people that experience this rated it as one of the top 5 greatest events in their life.
yes,
Near or above the birth of a child.
yes,
The birth of a child.
those are some sick shrooms.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
So basically what they did is they rounded up a group of like 36 people, I think it was. It said it took them 6 years to round up a group of 36 people. Not a lot of people were jumping
Excuse me,
at
you're
this.
dying of cancer. Would you like to take some shrooms?
Yes, exactly. So what they did to advertise for this is they did newspaper and they went to churches and yeah, literally they flyered churches.
Wondering if this could go in the bulletin next week.
Yeah, exactly.
We're looking for terminally ill patients to take shrooms.
Take shrooms. And then also they did some like meeting prayer house type things that are,
Sure.
things like that. And so they got them in the room.
So we're
and
talking
they had,
about Christians, or
we're talking about all people that said they participate, or the people that said they participated in this already had strong spiritual convictions.
Okay,
That's what they said.
cool.
So yeah, and that's what we're most likely talking about. So, and then they gave these people shrooms, and they asked them to rate how they felt afterwards,
Sure.
how they felt spiritually, how they felt moved, all these different things they had to tick off and stuff like that. And most of them said they felt like they had like a better sense of everything about them, better sense of God, better sense of all this junk. And some even 6 months later reported that, some even a year later reported that. Less going on.
ever since then?
Since then, yeah.
Wow.
So that was, I mean, few did the 1 year, and there was.
They were doing it for.
No, they only did it once. They only did it
Okay.
once.
Sorry.
So okay. So that being said, it's stupid, right? This is like the dumbest thing in the world.
I don't know. Maybe I should try.
I doubt it.
Just kidding.
So it's interesting because one of the posters on the message boards is Inconceivable, who posted on this story, and he has experimented with drugs in his past, not in his present. And he said one of the drugs. This is kind of a long post, so I'll kind of skip through it and read some of the good parts to you. So one of the drugs I used to take would give me the sensation that I was a professor of philosophy at the University of St. Michael in upper northern regions of heaven. I felt like I knew myself deeper than I ever had off the drug. I felt like I knew what other people wanted without them having to say a word about it. For people to take as strong a drug as mushrooms, which it is a strong hallucinogenic drug, for the first time, it's not too difficult to imagine that these people had the ride of their lives. Being that as it may, people who already have strong religious convictions tells me that these people basically put their religious life above all else. So when you add a hallucinogenic to your equation, you're going to magnify that tenfold, which makes sense. If this is the strongest part of the person, you add this drug in the mix, so it's going to increase that. So, but then he goes on to, I think, get more of the truth, where he's saying, oh, Andy, professional.
That was ridiculous.
He's saying it's a false light, and so many people fall into believing it's a permanent fix to all their problems. And that's why it's kind of a dangerous thing.
Sure.
That they continue to use it, eventually causing addiction, which leads to a whole new set of issues. But anyway, that's not the point. So And he gets right down to it, and he quotes actually a verse, Peter 5:8-9, which says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Resist him steadfast in the faith." And he says it's pretty hard to do tripping balls on shrooms. So that's our truth right there.
It is the truth.
The truth is that, okay, you
No,
can't...
I think this is a good truth, really, honestly. Like,
It is. If you're called... Like if you're of Christian faith and you're a Christian descent and you know you're called to be sober and to be aware of your surroundings and not to allow things to alter the way you think and your state of being, to allow that to happen to you is, you know, not following the word, and you just can't do it if you're tripping on balls on shrooms.
And whenever whatever experience you have, because you've altered your state of mind,
it's a false experience.
Yeah,
it's a false state of being.
Yeah.
And
have you ever seen the movie Almost Famous?
No.
At one point, the lead singer of the band or whatever is high, and he's at this party, and he climbs on top of the roof, and he stands on top of the roof at the pitch in front of a pool, and he yells, "I am a golden god," and he really believes it. And then he jumps off into the pool and almost kills himself. But I think I think people think all sorts of things.
And that's the thing. So even if it does give somebody a
heightened
spiritual sense, or like they call a lingering sense of spirituality that's more enhanced than they felt off the drug, you can obtain things like that through means of and
maybe it's just not even real.
Right. It's not real. Yeah. It's a false sense of reality.
Yeah.
So there's truth on that. Can't do it if you're tripping balls on shrooms, all right?
I didn't say that, though.
Straight up. Inconceivable. You me were on that. All right, so visit the website, socialtruth.com. You can post and register comments and do all kinds of good things like that, and participate in the discussion. We have, like I said, all these people that were discussing
Tell
these.
your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Maybe your neighbors.
And then get on.
Not your friend.
Yeah. Probably have like a tell a friend form submit thing that you can tell a friend about, like a story or the page on there. So you can utilize that and tell somebody about the discussion that's going on. And you can always send us an email, socialtruth@gmail.com, or give us a call on the voice line, 773-598-TRUE, 598-8783. And we'll be here again next week. We'll see what form it takes.
Better than ever.
As always. Just keeps getting better here.
It does.
So, peace for now, guys. We'll see you on the website. Take it easy.